Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga, Joy Nitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now we're having Srimad Bhagavatam class by His Grace Mukunda Datta Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada's disciple. Hari Hari.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Bihari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Yamuna Tirvanachari. Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parajagacharya Shlo Darshata Shri Srimad Srila Abhay Chandanand Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Thakur Haridas Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Rani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT. Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. Shri Shri Lalita Vishaka Sahita Radha Shyam Sundar Ki Jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishne Swadhamopagate Dhanamajnanadhibisaha Kalau Nashtadrishamesha Puranarko Dhunoditaha. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 85, Text number 4. Please repeat. Yatra, Yena, Yato, Yasya, Yasmai, Yat Yat, Yatha, Yada, Syat Idam Bhagavan Sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham Yatra Yena Yato Yasya Yasmai Yad Yad Yatha Yada Syadidam Bhagavan Sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham. It's a tongue twister. This is called anupras, alliteration, same syllable. It's the poetic device. Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yad yad yatha yada syadidam bhagavan sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham. One more time. Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yad yad yatha yada syadidam bhagavan sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham. Yatra yena yato yasya yadhyatha yada syadidam bhagavan sakshat pradhana purusheshwaraham. Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yadhyatha yada Syadidam Bhagavan Sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham. Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yadhyatha yada Syadidam Bhagavan Sakshat Pradhana Purusheshwaraham. Mataji, is anyone? Yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yadhyatha yada syadidam bhagavan sakshat pradhana purusheshwaraham. yatra yena yato yasya yasmai yad yad yatha yada syadidam bhagavan sakshat pradhana purusheshwarah yatra, in which, yena, by which, yataha, from which, yasya, of which, yasmai, unto which, yad yad, whatever, yatha, however, yada, whenever, syat, comes into existence, idam, this, creation, Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, Sakshat, in his personal presence, Pradhana Purusha, of nature and its creator, Mahavishnu, Ishvaraha, the predominator. This is whom speaking? Vasudev Maharaj. And this is just after he's heard from all these sages and offered so many sacrifices and said goodbye to his relatives. Now he's approaching Krishna and Balaram with a new mindset. And he's offering these prayers. What does he say? You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who manifest as the Lord of both nature and the Creator of nature, Mahavishnu. Everything that comes into existence, however and whenever it does so, is created within you, by you, from you, for you, and in relation to you. Please repeat. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who manifest as the Lord of both nature and the Creator of nature, Mahavishnu. Everything that comes into existence, however and whenever it does so, is created within you, by you, from you, for you, and in relation to you. Purport by the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki. 2. Yeah, this is 10th canto. 10th canto, chapter 85. To casual observers of the known world, to casual observers, the known world appears to be produced by many different agents. A good indication of this conception is language itself, which traditional Sanskrit grammarians explain as reflecting the visible diversity of nature. In the standard Sanskrit grammar taught by the sage Panini, the verb expressing action is taken to be the essential core of a sentence, and all other words function in relation to it. What's the most important part of speech? The verb. That's the real essence of the sentence, because even the person who's performing the verb in Sanskrit is indicated by verbal termination. Okay. Nouns, for example, are put into any of several cases to show their particular relationship to the verb in a sentence. That's being done here. Yasya, yasmai, yataha, ityadi. So these are all pronouns, relative pronouns, correlative pronouns. So these relations of noun to verb are called karakas, namely the relations of subject, object, instrument, recipient, source, and location. That is, in Sanskrit, karta, karma, karana, sampradana, apadana, and adhikarana. So the subject is the person who does something, the object is what is done, And the instrument is the means by which you do that. The recipient of something is always there. Why are you doing it? For whom? And where something is coming from, or because of something. All these parts of speech are indicated by these different karanas. And of course the location, adhikarana. So apart from these karakas, nouns may sometimes point to other nouns in a possessive sense. And there are also various kinds of adverbs of time, place, and manner. But although language thus seems to indicate the activity of many separate agents in the manifest creation, the deeper truth is that all grammatical forms refer, first of all, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, Vasudeva makes this point by glorifying his two exalted sons in terms of the different grammatical forms. Om Jnana Timanantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Hyam Dadati Swabadandikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utaparakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savathutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My dear Lord Gopal, only if you accept my words to be like your cows will they give sweet milk and provide pleasure to your pure devotees. Sometimes we hear this kind of language in the Upanishads, kind of indirect glorification, or even in Srimad Bhagavatam. There are other prayers that sound a lot like this one. One example is from the Hamsa Guhya Stuti in the 6th canto. Yasmin yato yena cha yasya yasmai yad yo yatha kurute karyate cha. What does it mean? Much the same. The Supreme Brahman, Krishna, the ultimate resting place and source of everything. Everything is done by him, everything belongs to him, everything is offered to him. He's the ultimate objective, and whether acting or causing others to act, he's the ultimate doer. There are many causes, high and low, but since he is the cause of all causes, he is well known as the Supreme Brahman, who existed before all activities. He is the one without a second and has no other cause. Therefore, I offer my respects to him. It's a lot like Brahma Samhita, right? Sarva Karana Karanam, Anadiradir, Govinda. It's all Govinda. So sometimes Bhagavan is even directly glorified. This is not so direct. This is kind of indirect. But, for example, anybody know Mukunda Mala Stotram? South Indians? Krishna. Nobody knows this. Krishna Rakshati no Jagat Traya Guruhu Krishnam Namadhvam Sada Krishnena Akhila Shatravo Vinihitaha Krishnaya Tubhyam Nama Krishnad Eva Samuttidam Jagaridam Krishnasya Dasosmyaham Krishne Tishtati Vishvad Etar Akhilam. Hey Krishna Rakshasvaman. He's using all the 8 cases in Sanskrit. Different languages that, inflected languages, these are called. They have different case endings that indicate the part of speech. In English, we have prepositions. In Hindi, we have postpositions. But in Sanskrit, it's infixed into the word itself. So Krishnaya Namaha, for Krishna, or Krishnat Jagaridam. This universe comes from Krishna. Krishne Tishtati. It's all situated within Krishna. Krishnasya. We belong to Krishna. Krishnam Namadhvam. Offer obeisances to Krishna. Like this. All right. A little bit closer to today's verse is what Prahlad said in the 7th canto, 7.9.20. Yasmin yato yarhi yena cha yasya yasmad yasmai yatha yad uta yas twaparaha parova bhava karoti vikaroti prathak swabhavaha sanchoditas tarakhilam bhavataha swarupam. My dear Lord. Who's he praying to? Narsingha. My dear Lord, everyone in this material world is under the modes of material nature, being influenced by goodness, passion, and ignorance. Everyone, from the greatest personality, Lord Brahma, down to the small ant, works under the influence of these modes. Therefore, everyone in this material world is influenced by your energy. The cause for which they work, the place where they work, the time when they work, the matter due to which they work, the goal of their work, the goal of life they've considered final, and the process for obtaining this goal, they're all nothing but manifestations of your energy. He doesn't say you, he says your energy. We'll talk more about that. Indeed, since the energy and the energetic are identical, all of them are but manifestations of you. So, we already talked about Anupras, all the wise here, So Prahlad Maharaj is focusing on the Lord's energy because Krishna does not operate in isolation, seclusion. And he interacts with his potencies, multi-potencies. All those potencies execute whatever he wants. In the Upanishads, we find this described in which words? Anybody know what I'm thinking? Satya, Kama, or Satya Sankalpa. Whatever he sets his mind on, instantly manifested by his energies. That's why we're envious of him. We have to work very hard because we're not the supreme controller. We're not the supreme enjoyer. We're not supreme. We're the ones who are supposed to be executing. We've become rebellious, and that's why we've been thrown into this prison, which is really what this material world is. Anyway, so Krishna, this is what we hear from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Anybody know what I'm thinking about the Lord's multi-potencies? Jorse. Yes, very good. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He doesn't have anything that he has to do. Karya, in Hindi mein usko kaj bolte hain, right? What you have to do. So he doesn't have any karya, and there's no, the karana is also used there. The tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. And parasya, the point here is parasya shaktir vividhaiva shriyate. He has so many different kinds of energies. All energies of the Lord. So bhaviki jnana bala kriyacha ityadi. So this is why Jiva Goswami in his Shats and Darbas implicitly emphasizes the Lord's potency above everything else. And based on assertions like that, Srila Prabhupada even went so far as to say that without developing any appreciation for the Lord's potency or energy, especially his internal potency, one can really hardly have any real or complete conception of God. He told this to Sarup Damodar and others on Venice Beach, maybe back in 1973. Somebody else might have the reference ready. So without appreciating the inconceivable potency, this is the point that Jiva Goswami also emphasizes. This is what sets us apart from other Vaishnavas who accept Bheda. There are many different schools of Vedanta that have Bheda conclusion. But unless you really focus on the Achintya Shakti, how this is all tied together, inconceivably, you can't really say that you have a full explanation of the Vedanta or the Lord's relation to his energies. So this is the whole project of Jiva Goswami's Shat Sandarbhas. And indirectly he's glorifying, by emphasizing the importance of the Lord's Shaktis, he's emphasizing the importance of whom? The chief of his Shaktis, Srimati Radharani. Radhe! So, that brings us to today's verse. And in particular, we have this name in the final line of today's verse, Pradhana Purusheshwaraha. Anybody know Vishnu Sahasranama? Raise your hand if you know Vishnu Sahasranama. It's more common in the south. Yogo Yoga Vidam Neta Pradhana Purusheshwaraha Ityadi. Means there are basically three things. I mean, in Mahabharata, of course, Grandfather Bhishma spoke this famous 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. And early on, this one appears there, Pradhana Purusheshwara. So, it means he's the controller of primordial material nature. He is the Purusha, who is the Lord of material nature. Pradhana, Purusha, Ishvara. That's one way to see it. Another way to see it is that he's the controller of the person who is the chief of all persons. Pradhana Purusha, Ishvara. You got it? Pradhana means the chief. And evidently, I don't know where Prabhupada is getting this from, but in his translation, he interprets this to mean Mahavishnu. So he's the Lord of Mahavishnu. This is some more evidence for our friends in other sampradayas who feel that Krishna is just an incarnation of Vishnu. But Pradhana Purusheshwara means actually he's the Lord even of Mahavishnu. Lord of Mahavishnu. So, and then finally, the Lord of both Prakriti and Purusha. Here you have to know a little bit of Sankhya philosophy, because according to Sankhya philosophy, everything that we can experience and everything that we cannot experience, it's subsumed within these two categories. Pradhana, material, matter, spirit, and Purusha, spirit. God in his creation, we can say. Tamal Krishna Goswami used to have a ring that he wore in his later years. Silver ring with some maybe onyx or something. It was in the shape of a yin-yang symbol. The Chinese symbol. So he showed me that ring one day and he asked me, what does it mean? And I said, Achintya Veda Veda. He said, he was far above me. He said, no, it means Radha and Krishna. That was his vision. Anyway, so we're talking from the Sankhya point of view. They see everything in terms of the same two that we might call yin-yang maybe. But they see it as pradhana, matter, and purusha, spirit. Spirit moves matter. Or as Prabhupada also told Swarup Damodar, life comes from life, and the matter comes from there. All right, now in the Vishnu Sahasranam, same one, we have several commentaries that explain this name, Pradhana Purusheshwara, including Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary. He says very briefly, Pradhanam Prakritihi Purushaha Kshetrajna Jivas Tanishtet Niyamatiti Pradhana Purusheshwara. The name Pradhana Purusheshwara, according to Baladev Vidyabhushan, means Pradhana is the primeval material nature. We know that. Unmanifest material nature. And the Purushas, plural, he says it in plural. Who are the Purushas? Those are all the living beings. All the Jivas who are conscious of their individual fields of activity. Kshetra. Kshetrajna Jiva. So what is the Kshetra? Anybody know? It's described in Bhagavad-Gita. Many elements, but basically your whole operation in life. That's called your field of activity. Centered around the body, of course. So, there is one person who has both of these under his complete subjugation and who is able to restrict them according to his will. only one such person, and it's not you. And that is Pradhana Purusheshvara. That is the Lord, Vishnu, or Krishna. Here we're concerned mainly about Krishna, but not just Krishna. Who else? Krishna and Balaram. Never forget Balaram. Krishna Balaram ki. There's a little boy, well, he's not little anymore, but he used to be little, very cute, in ISV in California, Silicon Valley. So he's great devotee of Lord Balaram in particular. So anytime anybody is glorifying Krishna, he'll not neglect to chime in and say, Balaram too. This is love. Idam eva, we have Parashar Bhattar. He wrote a famous commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam, probably the most comprehensive Vaishnava commentary. Because believe it or not, Shankaracharya also wrote a commentary, but we're not going to discuss that this morning. So Parashar Bhattar says, Idam eva upapadyate pradhana purusheshvaraha pradhanasya bandhahetoho purushanam cha badhyamananam sarvatha niyamakaha shteshabhasa ityadina varach evam sthavaraha. That means that where do we get this name Pradhana Purusheshwara? He's always the controller of primeval material nature and the cause of restriction for those persons who are bound up within it. This is established through, well, this is all grammatical things. I'm skipping Sridhar Swami's commentary on this verse because it's just all grammatical stuff that's going to bore you. We want to get to the real sara, the essence of the matter. So, ish, vara, the person who desires best and gets what he wants. That is Ishvara. His desires are never frustrated, we said already, right? Satya kama, satya sankalpa. Instant fact. All he has to do is desire, it's carried out. Done. So, all right. What else does he say? He's quoting from, again, Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Sanyuktam etat ksharam aksharam cha vyaktavyaktam bharate vishram ishaha anishaschatma badhyate bhoktribhavat nyadva devam muchyate sarvapashaihi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead maintains this universe which consists of the temporary and eternal, the manifest and the unmanifest. The individual spirit soul is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the individual soul tries to become the supreme enjoyer, he becomes bound. And when he understands the real nature of the Supreme Lord, he becomes free from bondage. That's in chapter 1, text 8 of Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Then he goes on to quote another verse from the same in chapter 6. Pradhana kshetrajna patihi ganeshah ksharatmano ishate deva ekaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller of the material manifestation and the living entities. He's the master of the modes of material nature. So through his own potency, the Lord, in order to play, he influences the living entities, duly binding those who are offenders and liberating those who are surrendered. This is his adhikar. This is his prerogative. And he's the only one who can do this. We cannot do this. We can't even save ourselves, what to speak of anyone else. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, we all know this verse from Bhagavad-Gita. He's quoting this also, 1861. He's the controller of all living entities. Daivi Hiesha Gunamayi, this divine energy of mine is consisting of the three modes. He's also quoting this from chapter 7. And then again, Daivi Devasya Kridataha Kridanakam. This whole thing is going on, this huge jagat, this cosmic manifestation, only going on as a matter of play for him. All of our bondage, all of our moksha, all of everything is just play for him, child's play. So, and he's finally again from the same Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Sangsara moksha sthiti bandha hetuhu. He's the cause of bondage, stasis, that means maintenance, liberation, and the whole world. Finally, he quotes from Vishnu Tattva. I will spare you the Sanskrit in the interest of saving time. There it said, there is no way to enable an individual soul to overcome the energy of Bhagavan other than his grace. Simply put, this is the sum and substance of the absolute truth. We need mercy. This is the point. All of us should recognize. And then finally he says that, I'm going to summarize here. The Lord is always and everywhere the controller of the bondage for those who are bound up by material nature, and the Lord of both, as the Lord of both matter and spirit. As I said, I'm going to skip Sridhar Swami's commentary here because for the most part it's very technical, and we've already explained a lot of it anyways. Sanatana Goswami writes here, Idam iti prapanchasya pratyakshatvad idam vishvam pradhana purushayor ishwarasyascha Bhagavan eva tvam. Vasudeva is telling him that this, the word idam, in the third line, second word, what does it refer to? Anybody who was paying attention may have caught it from the translation, or the word for word. Huh? Yes? Well, you maybe know Sanskrit, but idam iti prapanchasya pratyakshatvadidam vishvam, Sanatana Goswami says. This idam means the visible universe. So idam syat, whatever there is here, whenever it happens, for whomever it happens, however it happens, ityadi, all these things we've listed, all the ya. This is all coming from Bhagavan. And therefore he is the Lord of Pradhan and the Purushas within it. Instead of addressing Krishna as you, he calls him Bhagavan. Why? Out of respect. Or he explains Krishna's supreme position as Bhagavan. In order to, you are Bhagavan, because he's speaking to Krishna. He wants people to know that you are Bhagavan. This is another thing. So you're the Lord of even the greatest Purusha, since you show unlimited powers. Jiva Goswami likewise says that he shows how they are the root form. They, meaning Krishna and Balaram both. Sankarshan is included within Krishna in this statement, and thus the singular is used. You don't see any duals in this verse, it's all singular. So, Vasudeva praises Krishna in 3 verses. Idam refers to Vaikuntha, made by the Sarup Shakti. Are you confused? What do we just hear from Sanatana Goswami about the word idam? We just explained it less than 5 minutes ago. What does idam refer to? Somebody here knows. The material world. But here Jiva Goswami says, idam here refers to Vaikuntha, made by the Sarup Shakti. So sometimes acharyas have different views on things. This is not surprising, because the nature of the absolute truth is that everything is one. Even though it's different. That's the Achintya Bheda Bheda. How it can be the material world and the spiritual world at the same time? Well, you might want to ask Sanatana Goswami, because he explains in Brihad Bhagavatamritam that when Gopakumar first went back to Godhead in Brajatam, he's looking around and he couldn't figure out, are these people in the greatest, deepest ecstasy, or are they suffering unimaginable misery? He couldn't tell. Or, for example, Gauridas Pandit, he couldn't understand who is the original Gaurnitai deities and who are the, photocopies. So in the same way, Vallabhacharya in particular, because he's a monist, he emphasizes that. He says that this world, it's all Leela. That's his philosophy. There is no such thing as the external energy for him. Hard to imagine that. But there is some truth to it, and it has Upanishadic support. Sarvam khaluidam Brahma, right? Means everything here is Brahma. All right. So, Therefore, Jiva Goswami says everything idam refers to Vaikuntha made from the Sarup Shakti, Jiva's made from Tatastha Shakti, and the universe made from Bahiranga Shakti. All different, but all the same, in the sense that they're emanations from Krishna. What does he say about this? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. And there are other references, even in Bhagavad-Gita alone. So Krishna, Bhagavan, within whom the spiritual world, material world, and jivas exist, is directly the shelter, or the Ishvara, of Pradhana and Purushas. This is the point. Since Krishna is the shelter of everything, being the root form. Yatra in this verse means in whom everything exists, and it indicates that the Lord manifests himself as the supreme shelter of unlimited Shaktis, such as the Adhara Shakti. What is this Adhara Shakti? Like you have Adhara card, right? What does Adhara means? The substrate, the foundation, the basis. So Adhara Shakti, Krishna has this Adhara Shakti. Nanda and Yashoda, Krishna's parents, they're manifestations of this Adhara Shakti because they're the basis of Krishna's existence. And Padyavali Rupa Goswami tells us, Virachita Jagat Pramodam Muhur Yashodam Namasyami. I offer my respectful obeisances. He wrote this verse himself. He's not quoting. Most of Padyavali is quoting other authors, but this verse Rupa Goswami wrote. So I'll share with you the whole verse actually. Ankaga pankajanabham navyakanabham vichitraruchichayam. Virachita Jagat Pramodam Muhur Yashodam Namasyami. I will offer obeisances unto Yashoda. Why? Because she is the one who has manifested the bliss of the universe. Who would that be? Lord Krishna. She manifested him. So she has to be the Adhara of Lord Krishna. This is another Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. All right. Anyway, so Yasya, of whom, expresses his relationship with designated objects. They're all his, in other words. Ishvara, what is that? Ishopanishad. Ishavasya medam sarvam. Same idea. Yena, what does yena mean? By whom. And that indicates that the Lord is the active cause of everything. Yataha, from whom. That indicates that the Lord is their source, the source of everything. Yasmai indicates that everything is meant for him. Yasmai, for whom? For him. Just like when we offer yajnas, what do we say? Idam Krishnaya, idam namama. This is for Krishna, it's not for me. When you offer bhoga, you have to remember this. People offer pizza because they like pizza, right? But actually it's for Krishna. Anyway, it's okay. I'm not prohibiting. Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas also gives permission. You can offer regional delicacies to the Lord, but of course they have to be sattvic. I don't know how sattvic pizza is. You can decide for yourself. But yeah, all right. So that's why in the 10th canto we see what is Krishna eating when Lord Brahma encounters him after having stolen all the cowherd boys and hidden them in the cave. He's eating what the Tamil people call tayar sadam, rice and yogurt. So you can offer such things. All right, so this is Yasmai, everything is for him. Yet indicates that the Lord is non-different from the material, spiritual worlds and jivas, all three, because he's one with his material and spiritual energies. That's a little harder for us, isn't it? That's something that it comes through what we call aparokshanubhuti, sakshat aparoksha brahmanubhuti. Direct experience of the absolute truth, which is not something you can process through your head. Your intelligence is not going to go there. People get short-circuited because they think they found some inconsistency in the philosophy. But Prabhupada, I was hearing a quote the other day that Prabhupada is telling everything is perfect. And we see so much imperfection, but actually everything is perfect. When you surrender, you can accept that. And there's logic in that surrender. It's not just mindless. It has to be the result of considering this philosophy very carefully, which means you have to hear this philosophy very carefully. And that means even the philosophical parts of the Bhagavatam we also have to hear very carefully. This will save you when you need gyan. From our animal propensities, it will save us. Human beings are higher than animals. And yatha, yada means whenever or however. This indicates his shakti or method and time. He does everything in his own way, in his own time. Sometimes we pray very ardently, fervently to the Lord to fulfill our desires and nothing happens, we think. It is happening, but it's happening yatha kamam, yada kamam. When he wants and how he wants. This is the part we again have to do what for? Surrender. We have to surrender to that. Because we're not the controllers. He is the controller. Pradhana Purusheshwara. All right. Now, then he also points out that Sridhar Swami had also explained how we formulate this Ishvara idea. What does it mean? We can't do anything unless there's an action and there's an actor, which would be ourselves if we're doing the action, and some effect of our action, which is the object, and all these other cases that we talked about, karakas, if you remember that. So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a little bit brief. He says, you are this universe as it is caused by you. This verse is in the singular since the two, Krishna and Balaram, are acting in one. Or you can even say that Prakriti and Purusha are acting as one. That's another way to see it. I don't know what he means, but he says this. Whatever objects such as a pot or cloth exist, and whatever causes them to exist, from wherever they arise, wherever they belong, to whomever the objects are given, whatever the objects are, whatever manner they exist in, whatever time they exist, all this is the effect of you, the Lord of the Pradhana and Purushaha. So the logic here is that if you don't have any bamboo, you cannot have a bamboo flute. No bans, no bansuri. So everything is coming from the Lord. And in that sense, the two are one. So here's another thing that's only hinted at the above verses, I just will mention. Because he mentioned, if you were listening really closely, you heard him quoting, who was quoting? I think Parashar Bhatta quoted from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And there was a mention of both akshara and kshara. What does that mean? Kshara and akshara. Not moving and unmoving. Fallible and infallible. It refers to different jivas. There are different kinds of jivas. So, Krishna says in chapter 15, text 18 of Bhagavad-Gita, Yasmat ksharam, anybody know? Aksharam cha, and? Yasmat ksharam atitoham, aksharade abhichottamaha, atosmi loke vedecha, pratitaha purushottamaha. Purushottama. I'm the best of all persons. Why? Because I'm Pradhana Purusheshwara. I'm the Lord of both the Pradhana and the living entities within it, and the living entities beyond it as well. Even Mahavishnu, I am the Lord of him. Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad-Gita. Now, Ksharam, we have fallen living entities, that would be us. I think in most cases it's safe to say we've fallen from the spiritual world. Maybe some of you are Nityasiddhas, I don't know. But then there are Aksharas who are the Nityasiddhas and they do not fall. Just like Nanda Maharaj, he's not going to fall down. Radharani, her friends, no. These are Akshara, Jivas. Or not even really jivas, we can say they're shaktis of the Lord. But Krishna here says, I'm above both of them. Both Kshara and Akshara, I'm beyond both of them. This is further confirmation here that he's Pradhana Purusheshwara. And he says, moreover, I'm understood in this way, both in the world, loke. Loka, what does loka mean? Hindi may be loka ka matlab kya hai? Hindi. Lok. Loka hai, Mirabai Bhavari, right? Means the world or the society in a general sense. But it also literally means Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. What does that mean? Yeah, the whole world in a literal sense. Either way, Krishna is the Lord of them all. So in the world, whatever that means, I'm glorified as Purushottama, and in Vedecha, in the Vedas also. Krishna is very careful throughout Bhagavad-Gita, in case you haven't noticed yet. He's very careful to substantiate whatever he says with regard to Shastra. Otherwise, how are we going to get it? This is what we have to do also. Do we do this? No, sometimes. But we could do it more. More means as much as Prabhupada did it. You see on every page in Prabhupada's books, he's quoting from so many places. This is what we have to do. That's what makes a person authoritative. Otherwise, you don't know. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, but is he giving you the answer right there? The evidence is there. This is the austerity of speech. It means to recite Vedic literatures. So, all right. So finally, I'm just going to make a final note here. We have a few minutes left. Who is speaking this verse again? Vasudev Maharaj. And who is he speaking to? His two boys. But it doesn't sound like he's seeing them as his two boys anymore, does it? So, we see this is what's happening. This is the effect of association. This is what I want to say. Who has Vasudeva been associating with? All these buddy gyanis and rishis and yogis, and he's got their conception. Not that he's tainted with Mahamaya. The whole thing is actually affected by the Lord's internal potency, Yogamaya. Just to, add some masala to the Lord's Leela, just to accentuate the bliss. Not only of the participants of that Leela, but for us also who are listening to this. If we're listening closely, and because it's three parts, right? It's Shravana, it goes in the ear. And Manana, you have to process it within your mind or within your heart. In Sanskrit land, those are the same. And then Nidhyasana, you actually apply it. But if we're listening carefully and processing what we're hearing, then we should be considering this. What is the tremendous significance of this Leela in which Vasudeva